All right, so today what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to solve multi-step equations. Before watching this video, you have to have some understanding of distributive property. So if you are not familiar with distributive property, I would highly recommend that you stop this video right now and go watch distributive property video. All right, now with that being said, let's go ahead and solve multi-step equations. We've been working with one-step equations, two-step equations. Now we're going to work with multi-step equations. This usually can mean that we're going to work with equations that have more than two steps. So let's go ahead and look at the first example here. First one I'm going to look at is I have 15 parentheses 20 plus d equals 420. Okay. So basically what I got to do is this. I have to know how to distribute, so basically I'm going to do the distributive property first. I have a number here that's being multiplied outside the parentheses, so that means that I can use distributive property because I cannot combine the 20 and the d because those are not like terms. So as a result, but I can distribute. So I'm going to distribute the 15 into the 20. I will also distribute the 15 into the d. So basically I'm going to have 15 times 20 plus 15 times d is equal to 420. Okay, so I take 15 times 20. 15 times 20 gives me an answer of 300. 15 times d gives me an answer of 15d. All right, so I go ahead and simplify that distributive property. Now I have basically a two-step equation remaining. I have a 300 plus 15d equals 420, so I'm working backwards. So the first thing I need to do is get rid of this this number right here. In order to get rid of it, I got to look and determine whether or not it's positive or negative. It is a positive 300 because there's no sign in front of it. So to get rid of a positive 300, I do the opposite, which is subtract 300 or a negative 300. So I'm going to go ahead and do that over here. I'm going to write negative 300 or subtract 300. These cancel out because they're opposites. Allows me to bring down 15d. I do 420 minus 300. This will give me an answer of 120. Next step, I need to isolate d. I isolate d because this is multiplication by doing division. So I'm going to divide by 15. And again, I'm dividing by 15 because that's what's with the variable. 15 divided by 15 gives me 1. 1 times d gives me d. That's the identity property. 120 divided by 15 is approximately 8, I believe. Or it is 8, I guess. So I get an answer of d equals 8. Again, I could check that by substituting it back into the equation. So I put 8 back into the same equation. So in the place of d here, I'm going to put an 8. So I can do 20 plus 8 because those are like terms. That's 28. I have a 15 on the outside. I'm going to do 15 times 28. If I use my calculator and I take 15 times 28, I get an answer of 420. And 420 does equal 420. As a result, my answer checks out. All right, I'm going to go ahead and continue to the next example here. The next one's going to involve another step or so. We're going to have 8, parenthesis, x minus 3, in a parenthesis, equals 2, parentheses, 3x minus 4. Okay. I noticed on this problem that now I have distributive property that I will need to do on both sides of the equal sign before I start simplifying. All right. Or before I start trying to find out what my variable is equal to. So I'm going to distribute over here. I'm going to take the 8, I'm going to distribute it into the x, and distribute the 8 into the 3. Over here on this side, I'm going to distribute the 2 into the 3x, and the 2 into the minus 4. So I do 8 times x here, minus 8 times 3 is equal to 2 times 3x, and minus 2 times 4. Okay. So I'm going to do my multiplication here. I got 8 times x is 8x, minus 8 times 3, which is 24, equals 2 times 3x. Because these are both coefficients, 2 times 3 gives me 6. I get 6x. minus 2 times 4, which gives me 8. All right. So right now I have 8x minus 24 equals 6x minus 8. I'm going to go ahead now and combine like terms since I no longer, since I'm done with the distributive property. So I'm going to subtract 6x. I'm going to subtract 6x because I'm trying to move all the x's to the left in this problem. This will give me 2x minus 24 equals minus 8. The next step is I'm going to go ahead and move my 24 over to the right. I have to do that by doing the opposite of minus 24, which is a plus 24. So I add 24 to the other side of the equal sign. Again, here are the opposites. Leaves me with 2x. Negative 8 plus 24 gives me an answer of positive 16. Next step, since this is multiplication, I undo multiplication by doing division, so I'm going to divide by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 times x is x. That's the identity property. 16 divided by 2 gives me an answer of 8. So I get an answer again of x equals 8. I could double check that again by putting it back into my equation, but I won't because I did that on the previous one. All right, now that we've looked at those two examples, both using distributive property, let's look at one last example of distributive property when we have a fraction out in front. All right, so I'm going to have 3/4 parenthesis 8m plus 4 equals 9m minus 6. All right, I'm going to slide my notebook over here. That way you can see. Sorry about making you sick there. So I'm going to distribute my 3/4 into the 8m. I'm going to distribute the 3/4 into the 4. Notice over here on the right, I have nothing to distribute, so basically I'm going to end up still with 9m minus 6. So I distribute the 3/4 into the 8m, so I'm going to take 3/4 and I'm going to multiply that by 8m. I'm going to add it to 3/4 times 4. When I take 3/4, all right, I'm going to use my calculator here. I'm going to take 3/4, so 3/4. I'm going to multiply that by 8m, so I'm going to multiply it by 8 on my calculator, and I get an answer of 6. So this is going to be 6m, because 3/4 times 8m is 6m. Now I'm going to take 3/4, and I'm going to multiply it by 4, and I get an answer of 3. It's a positive 3 or a plus 3. Okay. So now I have 6m plus 3 equals 9m minus 6. I am actually going to move the variables all to the right side this time because this is a bigger positive. So I'm going to subtract 6m here, subtract 6m here. Notice that I line that 6m up underneath the m's because those are the like terms. These are opposites, so they cancel out. I end up with 3 equals 9m minus 6m is 3m minus 6. So now I need to go ahead and move that number minus 6 over to the left-hand side. I do that by doing the opposite of minus 6, which is plus 6. Those are opposites. I end up with 3m on the right-hand side. 3 plus 6 gives me 9. I need to go ahead and solve for the variable m. I do that because this is multiplication, so therefore I'm going to do division here, and I'm going to divide by 3. And I'm kind of running out of room here. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times m is m. So I get m equals 9 divided by 3, which is 3. So I get an answer of m equals 3.